Welcome to Alert Tales, where we dive deep into the most gripping stories of real-life experiences. If you love tales that evoke emotion, spark conversation, and connect us all, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our community for more captivating stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. My 25-year-old husband convinced me to swing. I think it broke us. Me and my husband have been together for 5 years. He has 2 friends from college who are a couple, Mike and Tina. They've all been close since we met, and I immediately liked them both, and they really took to me as well. I really feel like they are my friends too. A while back they told me that they were in an open relationship and enjoyed swinging. This was after we all had a few drinks and I talked about how my husband was my first relationship and my first sexual partner. They knew that already, but this time the talk got a bit more into specifics. They weren't pressuring me into anything, and I didn't feel like they were trying to get me into anything. I didn't think this thing was for me, and honestly I still don't. But they've been together many years, and if that works for them, all power to them. Well, ever since they told me, my husband got kinda weird. Mike and Tina didn't really bring the subject up anymore, but my husband kinda just wouldn't let it go. At first he kept asking me if I thought Mike was good looking or if I thought he was nice. And he kept enthusing about Tina. How Tina was so hot, and Tina was such a good wife and such a good friend, and so kind. I know he had a thing for Tina way back, but thought that was over since she was with Mike. Then he started talking about how hot it made him thinking about me with another man or another woman, and the talk would always get him really excited and we'd have sex. I thought it was kinda off, but he seemed happy and excited, so I let it be. Then his birthday rolled around and I asked him what he wanted, and he tells me he wants to reach out to Mike and Tina to see if they're into swinging. At first I wasn't really into it, but he kept asking and begging. He told me he was bored with our sex life and it needed spicing up. This really hurt my feelings because there's a lot of stuff I wasn't really into but let him do because I thought it made him happy. Whenever I asked him to do something, he'd shoot it down or say it made him uncomfortable. Anyway, he kept insisting and eventually I agreed. This got him really excited, and he told me not to worry about it, and he'd talk it out with Mike and Tina, and he'd take care of everything, and I was the best wife in the world, which made me really happy, because it's been a while since he was this excited about me. So the day comes and we meet up at their house and Mike and Tina are being really sweet, and they keep checking comfort levels, and this is the problem. See, the way we did it was that first Tina and me did some stuff as the men watched, and it was nice. I felt very sexy and very cared for, and Tina seemed really happy too. Then Mike took me to the bedroom while my husband and Tina stayed in the living room, and it was lovely. Mike was so attentive and so excited, and again I felt really beautiful and really desirable. We stayed there for apparently a really long time, and I think I looked maybe too happy when we returned to the living room. And when we returned it was kinda weird because Tina and my husband were just kinda sitting there on their phones, and my husband looked kinda upset. And he said something like, "Oh, finally," and said it was time to go home, and I barely got a chance to say goodbye. Ever since, my husband's been a bit weird. He doesn't talk about it anymore, and when I try to tell him about my time with Mike or ask about Tina, he just shuts down. We haven't really talked to them since. But also, the sex drive is gone. The few times we did have sex since, I realized he doesn't really do it for me anymore. And it seems like he doesn't even want to try anymore. I met Tina a few days ago, and we talked. I told her everything because I felt really alone in this and really wanted to talk to someone. I asked her about what happened with my husband, and she told me he just finished really quickly and wasn't really into satisfying her before or afterwards. She wasn't really bothered and told me men were like that sometimes with her, but she said he got distant and defensive and she didn't really want to talk to him anymore. But she thought I was lovely and Mike thought so too, which made me feel really good about myself. Then, she said she kinda got it though, since I was really into it and he just came along. This got a literal excuse me WTF out of me. Then we talked some more and turns out my husband had been setting this up for weeks. Way before I agreed, and he kept telling them he was doing this for me, and I was really into it and kept insisting I brought it up and was really into it, which is a total lie. Then we talked more, and the more we talked, the more I realized just how unsatisfied I am in my relationship, both emotionally and sexually. I don't think polyamory, swinging, open relationships, etc. is for me. But I think being married to my husband isn't really for me either. I don't want to sound spoiled or entitled, but at the very least I think I deserve to be with a man who won't lie to me, and who will make me feel loved and satisfied, or at least, I don't know, make the effort. I haven't talked to him about this yet, but I just think I really needed to put it into words before going ahead with this. So, thank you for reading, and wish me luck. I lost all attraction to my partner of 8 years in 2 seconds because of his gender issues. Throwaway because this has been eating at me and I need to get it out. I'm so insanely ashamed and guilty for these feelings. I'm scared of being judged. Me, 27 years old, and my boyfriend, 31, have been together for 8 years. I've known since high school that I am bisexual but came out to my loved ones when I was around 23. This just makes me feel even more crappy about this whole thing. He is aware of this and is bisexual himself. My boyfriend is very masculine. He's 6'2" with tattoos, piercings, and a beard down to his chest. He's a mechanic who has always been a very burly man since I met him, and I've always loved that and been attracted to that. As some backstory, about a year into dating, I was in his room when I found a pair of women's underwear. They were more like granny panties and not sexy. I immediately confronted him about it. He embarrassingly told me that he likes to wear women's underwear at home because they're more comfortable than boxers. I asked him if there was anything deeper going on, and he said that he was 100% a man but that he liked women's clothes. Clothes are clothes, and I don't care what he chooses to wear in his spare time, so we moved on. I was happy he wasn't cheating on me. Maybe a year or so later it turned into him wearing leggings. Again, clothes aren't gendered, and I trusted my boyfriend to be honest with me if he was feeling a certain type of way. Things were normal for a while. Within the past year, things have intensified in a way that I fear have permanently changed things. It started with him refusing to get a haircut, then it was him painting his nails every few days. 2 things that I can deal with in the grand scheme of things. But then, he asked me about my shaving routine and I tell him, thinking he's just interested. I find out when we go to have sex about a week later that he shaved his legs and used all the same products I use. I was kind of creeped out considering he knows I have a preference for body hair on men, and it was a surprise I wasn't expecting at that time. He tried to force me to touch his smooth legs when I was clearly uncomfortable. Meanwhile, he's been asking about me dyeing his hair and doing his makeup a lot around this time. I love hair and makeup stuff, so I reluctantly agree, half uncomfortable and half wanting to be supportive. Fast forward a few weeks, and we go to have sex again. As he's going to take his pants down, he's telling me, "Now I don't care what people think. I'm going to do what I want to do." He pulls them all the way down to reveal women's underwear with stockings and knee-high socks. All desire I had in my body disappeared in a millisecond. At that moment, all the different things he has been doing over the last year have come to a head, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. A very masculine presenting person their whole life doesn't just do all these traditionally feminine things out of the blue if there isn't an underlying issue. I just know that something is going on with him that he needs to figure out. He has clearly had these thoughts for years. But here I am. I lost all attraction to my partner of 8 years in a split second because I think he's got gender issues and can't admit it. I feel really bad because I am bisexual, but I didn't sign up for this. I was so attracted to his masculinity and feel a little bit duped. I wish he talked to me about things more. He just agreed to go to therapy after years of refusing. I wish he knew more about himself so I didn't have to mourn a version of someone I thought was real. I just don't feel like I can be intimate with him again under these circumstances, and I'm starting to fall out of love. It doesn't seem fair. I don't know where to go from here or how to talk about this, but I'll figure it out like I always do. I just need my therapist to keep telling me that I'm not a bad person for having these feelings. I'll try to remember it.